There are millions of people who physically cannot sit down for a meal anymore without pulling up a video first. You know the feeling. You're standing in your kitchen with a steaming plate of food, but you refuse to take a single bite. You're just scrolling. Whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or Netflix, you'll literally let your food get cold until you find the perfect thing to watch. It's become automatic, like breathing, because you don't even notice you're doing it. And here's what's actually happening. The moment you sit down without a screen, something uncomfortable starts creeping in, something your brain has learned to run from every single time. So what are you actually running from every time you pull up that video? Silence tax. When you sit down with your food and there's no video to watch, it feels like an itch you can't scratch. The kind that's hard to explain to anyone because, let's be honest, it sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud. But in your head, it makes perfect sense. You need that video because it fills the space where your thoughts would be. Because your thoughts, when you're left alone with them, tend to go places you don't really want to follow. So you've learned to preempt that. You find something, anything, that's louder than the sound of your own mind. But it wasn't always like this. You remember eating breakfast as a kid, right? Just you and a bowl of cereal looking out the window? It was fine. It was peaceful. But somewhere along the way, YouTube became the thing you opened while you ate. Then it became the thing you needed to open. Now, it's the only thing that makes eating feel normal. Your brain has turned eating and watching into a package deal. You know it's not exactly normal, but then you look around and realize everyone else is doing the exact same thing. It's just what we do now. Conditional hunger. Have you noticed that you're actually hungrier when you have something to watch? It's weird, right? Because hunger should just be biological, physical. But for a lot of us, it's become conditional. You'll eat, but only if the right video is playing. If you can't find something to watch, the food actually starts to feel less interesting, less worth the effort. See, the logic is that you're not really eating alone if something is playing. The video becomes a presence. A voice, a face, a narrative sitting across the table from you. It makes the whole experience feel less solitary. And it works, sort of. It's connection without interaction, company without contact. And maybe that's the point. Maybe you don't actually want a conversation, you just want the feeling of not being the only person in the room. That's what the video really does. It fills the gap. It gives you something to react to so that eating feels like an activity, instead of just eating. Attention trade. Have you ever noticed that you don't choose what to watch based on what you're interested in, but on how long the video is? It's because the video has to last exactly as long as the meal. If it's too short, you're stuck scrolling mid-bite, and that ruins the rhythm. So you've learned to estimate. This meal is a 20-minute video. This snack is an 8-minute one. You scroll until you find a fit, and eventually you realize you're more excited about the video than the food. The meal is just the excuse to sit down and watch. It's a strange realization, isn't it, that eating has become the vehicle for entertainment instead of the other way around. And you have to wonder, when did that flip happen? When did food stop being the main event and start being the thing you do while you're doing something else? And it's not just YouTube, it's TikTok, it's Reels, it's Netflix, anything that moves and makes noise. Because an occupied brain is a quiet brain, and a quiet brain doesn't spiral. It doesn't overthink. It doesn't start asking questions you don't have the answers to. So you keep it busy. You keep it fed with content and distraction while the food is just fuel. It's just the stuff that keeps your body going while your mind is somewhere else. Earned rest. You've convinced yourself that watching YouTube while you eat is a reward, and that's exactly why it feels so necessary. Think about it. You worked all morning, you survived a brutal day, or you finally sat down after running errands. This meal, this 20 minutes of eating, is your hard-earned break. And if it's a break, you feel like you deserve to actually enjoy it. To you, enjoyment means watching something, not just sitting there, not just eating. That would feel like wasting the break. So you open Netflix or YouTube and tell yourself, this is self-care. This is how I unwind. And once you frame it like that, eating without a video starts to feel like you're depriving yourself of something you've actually earned, like you're being too strict or too serious or too minimalist for a meal that's supposed to be relaxing. So, you need the video just to make the food feel worth it, because it means the content isn't enhancing the break, the content has become the break. You can even feel it sometimes. Those nights when you're not even hungry but you go to the kitchen anyway. It's because you want to watch a video and it feels wrong to watch without a plate in front of you. So, you're in a loop now, where the food and the content are so tangled together you can't enjoy one without the other. Look, it all comes back to the same thing. You've outsourced the experience of eating to a screen because the alternative, just you, the food, and the quiet, feels a little too uncomfortable to sit with. And hey, that's not a moral failing, it's just a pattern you've practiced. You probably clicked on this video because you recognized yourself in it. You've noticed the way you reach for your phone before you even think about it, the way eating in silence feels wrong now, even though it never used to. Maybe you've been telling yourself it's fine, that it's just what everyone does, and maybe it is, but these patterns aren't who you are, they're just what you've trained yourself to do. So, if you wanted to, if you really wanted to, you could practice something else. So the point isn't whether you can stop, but whether you even want to. And if the answer is no, if YouTube or Netflix is the only thing that makes a meal feel manageable, well, at least now you know why. If this video made you feel a little called out, then you're in the right place. Hit subscribe because I break down these behavioral traps every single week. Thanks for watching.